What is up, everyone? This is Codypon, and today we are going over every single Call of Duty weapon that was in the campaign that did not make the multiplayer for one reason or another, and I'm here to explain why my theory, why they were not. So starting off, we have the KS-23 shotgun. Needless to say, this was a really weird era for Call of Duty with shotguns. This is just coming off of Modern Warfare 2, where Modern Warfare 2 probably had the most notorious overpowered shotguns in the game. So I think Treyarch really wanted to go with alright, let's really make sure that shotguns are not a primary gun besides for close range maps. But a really cool weapon. I wish we would have got it. Next weapon on the list is the crossbow with the sniper scope, or a scope in general, as well as a crossbow without explosive bolts. Yes, you heard me right. The only crossbow in the game in multiplayer is the one with the explosives, and sadly they did not allow us to have any attachments with it. It was just the crossbow. I really believe this would have been a really cool weapon, especially like hitting some like montage clips and cool gameplays just with the crossbow itself. I think would have been really cool. Sadly, we will never know exactly how that would have played out in the multiplayer, but I do believe they did this because another thing besides just shotguns, Black Ops and Treyarch really did not like snipers, so I felt like without making the crossbow nerfed, they decided, you know, we won't even give it a scope to make it seem like a sniper, which is sad, but it is what it is. We are going to jump into some World War II weapons now, some throwback weapons. Of course, most of these, actually all of these weapons were in World at War. However, they were only in the campaign, starting off with the Mosin Nagant. I hope I'm saying that right. That's how I've said it my entire life. Anyway, the Mosin Nagant unscoped. What a cool weapon. It's super fun to use, especially in the campaign. This is probably my favorite mission besides Vorkuta. I love this mission. Going through using the iron sight, Mosin Nagant is just a classic staple. Continuing on with World War II weapons, we have probably my favorite weapon from World at War. Also a great weapon in the multiplayer of World at War is the PPSH. It's a Russian weapon. It's so cool. I love the design of the PPSH, and I also love how it shoots, how it sounds. It is just a phenomenal weapon, and it's sad to say that, you know, none of these weapons did return to the multiplayer in Black Ops 1. If any of them, I felt it should have been the PPSH, but more than likely, if they would have brought in a World War II weapon, probably would have been the MP40, just because of how iconic the MP40 is. Also, we have the scoped Mosin Nagant as well, which it plays a little bit differently than how World at War did, but essentially it is the same weapon. Sounds different as well from the World at War counterparts. Obvious reasons is this was like a flashback. This is why these weapons weren't in the game, but it still would have been really cool to add some of these to the multiplayer, but they decided to not include World War II and just keep it at that Black Ops 1 or that 1960 era of weapons. Alright, these next two weapons are going to be a little niche. So yes, the Python is in Black Ops 1 multiplayer. However, the Black Ops 1 Python does not have an attachment with the akimbo knife. So this is the only way you can play with the Python with a knife, and unfortunately you don't really play with it too long, even in the campaign. But I just felt this was super niche, and you know, this is a moment where you started wondering what the hell was going on in the campaign with Reznov and Swift. What the fuck's wrong? But very interesting that this was not even added. No, you know, knife combos with pistols were even added, even though I never felt that they were super overpowered in Modern Warfare 2, but they felt differently, I guess, with Treyarch. That would be my only guess. And this is also just a really quick one, is the SOG knife. So this knife specifically is only in the campaign. You cannot use this knife. It is just with the SOG knife. It's only in the campaign itself, so you don't really even get to use it that much either in the campaign. Would have been cool if they included things like this into the multiplayer. So we have one more pistol class, and that is the Tokarev with the flashlight knife combo. This is the final pistol that was not in specifically this class setup, was not in the multiplayer for Black Ops 1. Again, we weren't at the time where knife classes were essentially a main staple in Call of Duty yet. I understand the reason why they didn't want to continue encouraging knife classes after what Modern Warfare 2 was with Commando, but at the same time, it's really surprising that they made all of these different pistol classes but without it in multiplayer. And moving on to another weapon that was a World War II weapon, but for the Germans, was the Sten. And yes, even this weapon itself was not actually in the World at War multiplayer, so this was really surprising. I believe this gun actually appeared in Call of Duty 2, but that was the only Call of Duty at the time that actually had this as a multiplayer. Oh, and as a quick bonus, you can see that the frag grenades as well are different than what they were in the multiplayer, obviously from the World War II era. That is why the frags look the way they do. But yeah, really surprising to see the Sten actually in the campaign on Black Ops 1. A nice little shout out for sure. Alright, and here are our final couple of World War II weapons. Of course, we have the MP40 as we talked about earlier. Such an iconic weapon from World at War. It plays exactly like the World at War weapon. The fortunate thing about the MP40 is we did get this weapon in Call of Duty Zombies, which is really, really fun to use, especially with double tap. If you know, you know. But yes, the MP40, what an iconic weapon from the time, from Call of Duty as a franchise. Iconic weapon. And then moving on, we have the STG, which another really solid weapon from World at War. This weapon in the campaign, though, has no recoil, and I'm just wondering if maybe another weapon they could have added would it have been the STG. The STG is just a very solid assault rifle, and it's just very fun. I don't know, I really enjoy it, and I definitely would have loved to kill and see what, you know, how it would have played out in multiplayer if they would have included this in Black Ops 1. And last but not least, for the World War II weapons, we have the Panzer, which is just a big bazooka, and essentially, you're getting what you expect. It's just a giant bazooka. Obvious reasons why this is not in Black Ops 1. For the final gun that did not make the multiplayer, but was in the campaign, and probably most people are upset about and saddened by, is the Spaz, well, with the Incinerator, aka the Dragon. What a cool weapon. Why did they give this to us and not decide to include it? Even if it was like an add-on, but you couldn't do certain things. This is just such a cool weapon where I'm like, why? Why did they give this to us? And it is just so fun to use. Basically, you have incendiary shotgun shells before World War II, you know, the Call of Duty World War II. This was pretty much what it would have been. And my goodness, is it awesome. I just love using this weapon every time going through the campaign. And I really, really wish out of all weapons, they would have brought this, even if it would have been underpowered like the flamethrower with like, okay, if you use it, it's going to have a really, really reduced attack, but it's still playable. But sadly, we will never know what the Spaz 12 incendiary shotgun could have been in multiplayer. And there you have it, guys. Those are all of the weapons that were in the Call of Duty Black Ops campaign, but sadly have never seen the light of day after that. If you guys did enjoy this video and would like to see another follow-up video of this with other Call of Duty games, or maybe another video explaining every single gun that's in Zombies that's not in multiplayer, please be sure to subscribe and leave a like. And also comment why you guys think that some of these weapons did not make multiplayer, besides the obvious ones, as well as what weapon you personally would have wanted to see in multiplayer. Thank you guys very much for watching, and of course, we'll see you guys in another video. Peace out.